got to find something to wear. All right, perfect.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an excellent start to your week. I know I am, because we just had the highest monthly candle close in Bitcoin history. The Octo Bull came, it conquered, and we can see right here, we had a candle close of $61,358, signaling the highest monthly candle close ever for Bitcoin. Not to mention the fact that in my previous video, we had spoke about the 128 moving average crossing above the 200 on the daily. And yes, my friends, not only did we have the highest candle close, but we also had confirmation on this golden cross. It looks like Bitcoin is definitely setting up for a massive, massive move, most likely to the upside. We did speak about a potential drawdown, one more little dip before the blast off. Will that happen? Well, what I want to discuss in today's video is that we are seeing a major supply shock, liquidity crisis for Bitcoin as more Bitcoin continues to move off of the exchanges. I'm going to explain what this means, why it's significant, and I also want to discuss something that's happening right now in the Bitcoin chart, which most people might consider to be very boring, but it's actually drawing massive institutional interest. So those are the main topics of today's video. Also, congratulations to Ethereum doing quite well, also closing an all-time high on the monthly chart as well. Also, Ethereum did something quite interesting that it's never done before. We're going to talk about the significance of why Ethereum could be also looking even potentially to outpace Bitcoin short term, as well as, of course, some rumors from Tesla. So if all that sounds good to you, you know what to do. If you're not subscribed, consider it. And let's dive right into the charts. This is the most important thing we need to go over. So we've established the fact that we have put in a nice monthly candle. This is absolutely amazing for Bitcoin. Highest monthly candle close ever. We did have confirmation on this crossover. And going back to our original chart, having a look, you can see we were establishing a bit of a falling wedge. It looks like we may potentially be building more of a sort of a flag right now rather than a pennant shape. So if I just kind of move this here and take this and just kind of adjust this a little bit up like this and move this down, it still may potentially look like a bit of a falling wedge, but you could argue that we may be putting in a bit of a flag kind of pattern. Either way, these are both bullish patterns for Bitcoin. We are still at the top of the resistance. This does mean that Bitcoin may potentially have a little bit of a dip. We may even go down to about that $57,000 level. But let me zoom out super quick. And if we look at the weekly chart right here, okay, you can actually see the significance. By the way, guys, I don't know why my computer is lagging today. I need to get a new computer. This computer is absolutely shot from, editing all these videos, but I think you can still see my point. So we did have this blue zone territory right here, which I said I really don't want to see Bitcoin fall below. That's roughly around the $53,000 level. I don't think that Bitcoin falling down to that level is 100% out of the cards just yet. But as you can see right here, one level I am keeping my eye on, which is very close, is where we had this candle close on the weekly of February 15th. And if we actually just draw a line across like this, you can kind of see that we want to maintain above this level. It would be a lot better for Bitcoin to not really fall below that $57,000 level. However, even if it does happen, I still remain bullish, because as long as we are putting in higher lows, everything is looking great. I am expecting a massive move for Bitcoin. It could happen by the end of this week. We just have to complete this pattern over here on the daily. So whether or not you're looking at it as a bit of a falling wedge or you're looking at it as a bit of a bull flag, regardless, these are bullish chart patterns, the same way that you could see down here, right? We were putting in lower highs, lower lows, we consolidated, and we had the blast off, and I am anticipating something similar, whether or not it's a wedge or a flag. Either way, we're putting in a very similar pattern. This is a very bullish pattern, so as I've been saying now for a week on the channel, regardless of whether or not we get that Bitcoin lower low, 52, even down to 48,000, and I still remain a Bitcoin bull, because we are still putting in a higher low, plus we had the crossover on the daily. So that's my short-term Bitcoin overview. Not really much has changed. We're still waiting for the breakout move, but it is looking like a bullish consolidation. And as Bitcoin Archive pointed out, we have had exchange supply continuing to fall, which means more investors are pulling Bitcoin off at a rapid rate. In fact, this is the lowest level you can see right here at a 3-year low. It's been declining for 21 1 month straight. So investors are obviously taking the money off of exchanges. Maybe they're putting it into cold storage. We don't know what they're doing with it, but we do know that the more Bitcoin you remove off of the exchanges, the less Bitcoin there is for people to purchase because people are putting it in their cold storage. This creates a liquidity crisis. In fact, you can even have a liquidity squeeze where you can see the price absolutely skyrocket. So that is something that we needed to bring up. And what was interesting is if you actually were following Binance over on Twitter, they kept going back and forth saying that they temporarily disabled all crypto withdrawals. Now, they said that it had something to do with a large backlog. I don't really know what that means, but it sounds to me like they're getting overwhelmed. Like they're overwhelmed about how many people are trying to take the coins off. They want to make sure that there's enough liquidity for everyone, but the liquidity is drying up. And that is the main theme I want to discuss, is that we are literally seeing more interest in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's hitting all-time highs. More people are talking about it. More people are interested in purchasing it. And there is becoming less and less and less Bitcoin available. And in my previous video, I spoke about the 4-year cycle having less and less and less impact because we had 50 Bitcoin initially as the Bitcoin reward when Bitcoin first came out, and now it's like 6.125 or something like that, right? And cutting that in half is not going to be as significant as the drop from, let's say, 50 to 25. So long story short, Bitcoin is drying up, Bitcoin interest is rising. Simple economics, guys. Supply and demand. I think we know how this is going to end. And then you could see they resumed it, then they turned it off again. So I don't know what's going on, but what I can clearly see based on this data is interest is rising and the amount of coins available is diminishing. Simple economics. This is good for Bitcoin. So I just wanted to kind of follow up on that. Now, something else that's been happening with Bitcoin is that it's been a little boring recently, right? Hasn't really been that exciting in the past week. This is actually something that is attracting investors. Now, this may seem weird to the average retail, right? Buy low, sell high, understandable. But these guys like to see an asset that has performed very well and is maintaining stability, right? We're not having that crazy 50% crash like we had a few months back. It is holding, which means that virtually everybody holding Bitcoin, unless you bought it when it went up to 68 and down, is up, right? So the majority of Bitcoin hodlers are up. If you've been holding Bitcoin for more than a few months, you are up. So that means anyone in the history of Bitcoin that's been holding it is in profit, but yet nobody is selling, or at least we can't see it. It might be happening on OTC, but we are not seeing it on exchanges because they're pulling it off and no one's selling their Bitcoin, right? Or at least the majority are not selling their Bitcoin. So they say that Bitcoin's 260-day volatility has dropped to 66, which is the lowest level seen since Bitcoin had reached $40,000 initially. With a decrease in volatility, they say the asset may also receive more recognition among traditional traders and investors, which makes Bitcoin's correlation with the stock market stronger. Now, having a look at the stock market right now, we did in fact print a brand new all-time high on the S&P today, this morning. Literally, we have had a slight pullback, but it does look like overall, all of the markets, the cryptocurrencies, the stocks, everything right now is moving up together. And although we want Bitcoin to be separate, we want it to be its own asset, we don't want it to be correlated with stocks. Believe it or not, in the short term right now, considering it's still a relatively new asset, right? It's only 12 years old. This is actually good for institutions. This is showing them confidence in the strength of the price action and the hodlers. And this is definitely a positive, a plus, a net positive, whatever you want to call it, for Bitcoin. Now, in the same vein of the Bitcoin liquidity crisis, we're seeing something very similar. So Lex Moskova, I probably said his name wrong. Anyway, he is the head over at the capital of the same name. Long story short, I know, sometimes I butcher names. Basically, he's saying the exact same thing. If you have a look at what's happening in the Ethereum chart, we are also falling as well. Same exact thing with Bitcoin, same exact thing with Ethereum. Why is this happening right now? Well, as I told you guys, we were looking at some deflationary the burn versus the release was actually flipping, and we do have confirmation that for the first time since the introduction of the fee burning mechanism on Ethereum, right? We had EIP 1559 come out. This was something very hyped. Everyone was looking forward to this. So they say that it has officially reached its first whole week of negative issuance in history. The main reason being elevated network load and increased fees. People are going crazy for NFTs. People are going crazy for meme coins. Nevertheless, we're having massive transactions, massive load, high volume on the network, and this is actually turning it into a deflationary token. One of the biggest criticisms about Ethereum when it first came out was that it has this unlimited supply, right? It just keeps minting and minting and minting. But now we're actually seeing that Ethereum is turning deflationary. And by the way, guys, I'm sorry, the guys are outside. They're doing stuff in the backyard. They got the blowers and the machines going. My apologies. It's been like this for the past 3 months if you've been following the channel. Lots of renovation, but screw the renovation. I'm trying to make these damn videos because this is exciting times for crypto. Getting back to Ethereum, net issuance this week has reached negative 59 ETH. This is only about $250,000. It's not that much, but it's a start, and it could signal the massive, massive run for Ethereum if it continues its deflationary path, which I do think it will, considering the craze. And having a look right here, as I said, as long as we stayed above that $4,220 level, which we have tested it 3 times, every single time we drop below this level, Ethereum instantly pulls back above it, right? We've had 3 wicks on the daily, so this is showing confidence from investors, and we've also flipped this previous resistance as support, which is something that I am very excited about. I want to see us hold above these levels. Could we drop all the way down to this lower level? It's possible, but right now, I still remain extremely, incredibly bullish on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, getting back to the Elon Musk rumors, if you heard, so Dogecoin market cap added an extra 3 billion in the market cap for Doge because he was joking about, or maybe he wasn't joking, nobody really ever knows what's going on with Elon. He says, I'm thinking about starting a new university, Texas Institute of Technology and Science, and then right here, he says tuition is in Dogecoin and you get a discount if you have a dog. So obviously Elon comes out, he tweets excitement, and another rumor that's been circulating, it's a rumor, I stress, it's a rumor, I'm not saying this, but we did have Sawyer Merritt. I don't really know 100% what his background is, but I do know that he's a Tesla investor, and he saw that in the code, apparently, it shows Shiba under the payment type section in the code when you click inspect element during checkout. It's not live. He says, since I'm not a coder or anything, I'll let you figure out what the heck this means. I can't read code. I'm not a coder. You guys can go follow the tweet, Sawyer Merritt. Essentially, he's saying that he does see in here, you could select payment, and apparently Shiba Inu is in this code, I suppose, but we don't know whether or not, we don't know the significance of this, okay? So it's just a rumor. Could it have something to do with maybe another pump coming for Shiba? I don't know. But as I did warn you guys, once again, be careful. I'm not saying, don't buy Doge or Shiba, whatever. They're somewhat established meme coins. But as you can see right here, unfortunately, I did warn you guys. I told you be very careful. The value of Squid Game cryptocurrency has fallen by over 99% at the time of making this video. It looks like they left a thing in their Telegram. There was over 90,000 members. And essentially, they basically said, someone is trying to hack our project, not only our Twitter, but also our smart contract. We want to protect this. We're overwhelmed. So we have to remove all the restrictions and the transaction rules of Squid Game. It will enter a new stage of community autonomy. Sorry again for any inconvenience that's been made. Essentially, it looks like game devs do not want to continue running the project. So I don't know if this was a rug pull. I don't know if the team was in on it. I'm not going to make any speculations. It could have very well been a hacker, but be very careful. You can see the price has fallen by 99.98% in just 5 minutes. So anyone that invested, all these people that were up 40,000 plus %, now they are basically at zero. So this is my warning to all of you investors. It's fun to play with these tokens. You can make a lot of money with these memes and even these NFTs, but please be very careful. There's bugs in contracts. There's hackers. This is the wild, wild west. It is crazy. Anyone can mint a token. Anyone can change the parameters. Do not put more than, I would say, 1% of your capital, maybe 3% if you want to be a little bit risky into these tokens, because if that 1% does a 40,000% X, great, you just made a lot of money. But if you just threw 50% of your entire portfolio into Squid Game, well, today, my friends, you basically lost half your portfolio. So I'm just giving this to you as a warning. Be very safe out there. On this channel, I try not to focus on the crazy speculative coins. There are a lot of speculative coins that I could be shilling every single day, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want you guys to get hurt. Invest in the safer projects, the ones that actually have working teams that are looking to change something, not just play a little Squid Game, right? So be careful out there. That was my warning. Again, my second warning to you guys. But by the way, I have been looking into a lot of coins, even some meme coins. I've been looking into some meme coins. If you want, I will let you know. But I don't want to hear from anybody, oh, you talked about this coin and it got rug pulled, because that is the risk you take when you're choosing not to invest in something like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Polkadot, and you want to go to this crazy meme token. These are the risks you take, right? So let's end on some good news, though. CEO and founder of Grayscale's parent company, Digital Currency Group, which, by the way, was a massive, massive angel investor in Decentraland, Metaverse. Did they know something? Not too sure. But this guy's a billionaire, Barry Silbert. I tend to follow the money. If the money's going into something, and these guys have this type of money, you want to follow the money, right? They do much more research than any of us could ever do. They have entire teams devoted to this. So they are raising $700 million from SoftBank, Google's Capital, and other major players. This actually pushed the Digital Currency Group's evaluation to $10 billion, which actually I put a little bit of a conspiracy video out a while ago about the Digital Currency Group. I don't know if you guys saw it. Probably not worth bringing up today, but there might be some little funny business going on in the background, but it's okay. We'll leave that for another time. But the CEO of SoftBank said he believes that the Digital Currency Group's portfolio of companies can provide the best diversity of exposure to crypto assets. So you do have these investors that are coming in. They're looking at these thousands of tokens. They don't know what to invest in. Should I buy Shiba? Should I buy Decentraland? Should I buy Cardano? They have no idea. And these guys are helping them to have that diversified portfolio. This is something that traditional investors like to do. They like to buy these baskets, right? So they're sort of well hedged in all areas, right? Maybe the majority's Bitcoin, and then we have some other altcoins below it, right? He said that the $700 million was received from whales in the financial world, and it's not for the company itself. It's actually to attract new investors to help the crypto conglomerate continue on its path to growth. According to Barry Silbert, part of the money raised was actually sent to some early shareholders who wanted to lock in their profits, but to their surprise and to actually report some good news, the majority of them did not sell their full stock. So they are still in. I mean, maybe they took some profits, but they're ultimately still bullish on crypto. They still see a lot more upside. And one thing I wanted to actually mention, if we go back to the Bitcoin chart, let me just clean this up super quick. I don't really need to draw any lines on here to show you. So one thing that was a little concerning was that we actually were worried about the Bitcoin top. Now, a while ago, we had talked about maybe Bitcoin going into a bit of a bear market, right, at the end of this year because of this trajectory that Bitcoin was on. But now that we did have that 55% pullback, we actually went sideways essentially for 3 months before having the rebound. I actually consider that a healthy reset for the Bitcoin price. And I think that this area down here of accumulation, Wyckoff accumulation, whatever you want to call it, I think that this just bought the bull run another potentially 3 to 6 months, even longer than what we thought it was going to be. So we could still see Bitcoin continuing on this bull run even through halfway of next year. And if you watched my previous video, check it out if you haven't seen it, we did talk about the potential of a Bitcoin super cycle. Now, I don't want to say that's going to happen, but judging by this chart right here, seeing that we fell by 55% after having the distribution, we had the consolidation for multiple months, and we're back at the exact same levels again. This shows that investors were scared. The big players knew that they didn't have enough Bitcoin. And what is the saying we always say on this channel, right? If the investor misses the boat or misses the train, tough luck. You miss the boat, you miss the train. But when the investors miss the boat or the train, they pull the train back. And that's exactly what they did. They got their chance to accumulate at a 50% discount, and now they are ready to send Bitcoin. So that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think about that below. In the description, of course, remember, if you guys are interested, there is, of course, over $5,000 in bonuses if you're looking to trade. Don't forget, there's a 50% bonus on Prime XBT if you use the code CryptoZombie. Everything is in the description below. Make sure it's from the appropriate comment. Make sure you're not clicking on a scammer's link. Everything that I post will have a verified check mark and also will be highlighted, okay? So thank you so much again for coming back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a great start to your week. Don't be freaked out if we do have a little bit of a pullback. Ultimately, though, I am looking at a massive bullish move for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and most likely the altcoins as well in the up and coming weeks. So stick around, get subscribed, turn on the bell notification so you do not miss any of these updates. And most importantly, if you have not watched these videos right here, right now, what are you waiting for? Check them out. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.